the principle of Frederick Laloux has introduced is a sort of a color coding, if you like, right? And it does not say that any of those colors or types of companies are better or worse than any other. It's just sort of an evolutionary principle, if you want to look at it this way. It's somewhat similar to the evolution of mankind, right? We developed from groups of people living in caves, very power-driven, so top-down hierarchy, to more complex organizations, so communities and families that have a lot more complex structure to them. It's not so much top-down, it's more distributed and things like that. And this is sort of the final step of that evolution, where these kind of companies, and there are not that many of them in the world yet, look at the power distribution not from the perspective of you are the designated director, so you are in charge of these things, but rather each member of the group company is given, let's say, an oversight or supervision of an area that they have the biggest expertise in. So instead of hierarchy of power, it's a hierarchy of competencies, hierarchy of skills, hierarchy of knowledge. And each of that person or each of that group organized in circles, if you want to look at that particular way, then tries to do their best within that domain, and they also hold the responsibility and power over that domain. So they make the decisions, not the owner, not the director, but that particular group or one person who is in charge of that section. So there are no managers per se, there are no hierarchies per se, there is no like typical top-down structure as you would find in larger companies, but we are a small company. There is a small team. There's currently 5 internal and about 15-20 people external who works for us. So we have the luxury of trying, testing, running experiments, seeing things that work, seeing things that don't work. And it's an incredible journey. Would I advise this to a company that's currently 200, 300 people? No, it will be too much of an experiment. It'll probably break down very, very quickly. Number one reason for that is when you give people a lot of freedom to make decisions, it generates a lot of stress. At the same time. And not everybody wants that much freedom. Maybe they want more guidance, or they want more limitations. They want to know, like, I'm responsible from here till here, but anything beyond that, that's your job. And you're going to decide because you are the boss or you are the owner or whoever, right? So it's about finding the right people with the right mindset who can work with freedom, but at the same time is responsibility, right? So it's freedom and not freedom and no, it's freedom and responsibility, and they kind of go hand in hand. One does not work without the other. And this is where it breaks most of the time. So people get tired after a while of being responsible all the time, or they just don't want that much freedom. So they kind of like work in this environment for a while, and then they go and find a different environment, more traditional, if you want to call it that way, that also pushes them a little bit less. Now, the flip side, or the benefit of running this kind of a company is, one major benefit to it is that you can be who you are and you can realize your full potential, and there are almost no obstacles in your way.